coach Steve Spurrier from South Carolina joins us now. Coach, thank you for taking the time, hopefully off the golf course, to join us today. But what's your reaction when you hear that? How concerned would you be for Jadeveon Clowney?
Well, what was the latest? We didn't have a write-up in the paper here today.
Microfracture in his foot. So we're just
I've
responding
heard
to that.
One. Yeah, I've heard that's a serious injury that takes time. Now, you're talking about his knee operation, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, in the knee, not the foot. I apologize.
Yeah. It's a pretty serious surgery from all I hear, and time and rehab hopefully will bring him back full go. And I'm sure that's what all the Texans and Jadeveon and Gamecocks were all hoping that will happen.
Have you spoken to him, Coach?
Not recently. I think he stayed out in Texas and done his rehab. So I haven't seen many of those guys. I saw Bruce Allington. He was back for a basketball game 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I haven't seen many of our guys that took off last year.
Coach, you've been on both sides of the combine. You've put players in it. You've been there as the head coach of the Washington Redskins. What do you make of all that goes on in Indianapolis? I
tell you what, Ricky, I got it on the NFL channel this morning, and there are so many good-looking athletes. Gee, many Christmas. All those defensive backs running 4-4, 4-4, something like that, and receivers. And, man, it's a tough racket. I mean, it's tough just to make a team. And I hope all the college kids know all the facts. Some of them leave college a little too early, and they give up that fourth year that they could be playing college ball. But I do understand that you do risk injury, and if you got a chance to make an NFL team, go do it. So we're hoping our guys will all make it. And but there are so many good-looking athletes out there. It's tough to make a team.
We saw a list of your guys, but I'm curious now. Back when you won the Heisman Trophy, what sort of tests did the NFL put you through?
Fortunately, nothing. Fortunately, nothing. I don't even think they came around campus and watched you run or throw back in those days. They just got your old film and watched it, and sometimes they'd come around and interview you, but that was about the size of it.
When you were with the Redskins, what was your favorite question to ask those kids in those 15-minute interviews?
Well, we'd have our staff there. I think one of the favorite questions is, you know, which team would you like, if you had your choice, which team would you like to be drafted by? Of course, they'd all say your team, of course. But
that's an IQ test right there, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't get as deep in it as probably a lot of the coaches do.
South Carolina. You guys have been on a run this year, not up to the standards that you created over the last several years. What's going to get you back to that 11-win plateau? Yeah,
I'll tell you what, Ricky, it was a little bit of a disappointing year, but I got to give our players credit, our coaches credit. We did manage to win 3 of our last 4 games. We had a winning record and won the bowl game.
Right.
There's only actually 3 teams from the Power 5 conferences that have won 4 straight bowl games. We're one of them, along with Michigan State and Texas A&M. So that's sort of neat. Gosh, we beat Florida and Georgia in the same year. That doesn't happen very often. But we lost some close ones, and our defense wasn't as good as it's been. And offensively, at the end of the games, we didn't stay on the field to win the game the way we needed to a few times. So it was a 7-6 year, but really proud of the guys for winning that last one. As you know, that when you win your last one, that'll last 7 or 8 months till you play again. But hopefully we'll be a lot stronger team this year.
The old ball coach, Steve Spurrier, South Carolina head coach, joins us on the Rich Eisen Show. I'm Susie Schuster, in for Rich Eisen, as well as Rick Neuheisel. A lot of guys for South Carolina there at the Combine. I think that you are heralded mostly by A.J. Cann. How did you respond, and how did you think he did out there?
How did I think A.J. did?
Yeah.
Well, I heard he did well. I wasn't glued to the TV set, but we've got a reporter up there that quoted a lot of the guys during the week. But A.J.'s probably he or Mike Davis, I guess, will be our highest picks. Only time will tell. But A.J.'s a good, sharp, smart young man that I think certainly is going to make a team and play well.
Coach, one thing that Rick Neuheisel and I have been discussing a lot is that role as a college coach of you're their father, their priest, their counselor. You play so many roles. How do you talk to these kids about getting ready? What do you think is the greatest challenge, and how do you advise them?
Well, actually, Susie, we try to advise them on doing their best while they're here. That's what I try to do. We want them to be the very best student athlete while they're here at your university. And then when they elect to go pro, they pick their own agents. They go to the training facility wherever, and they pretty much leave us. And I don't really try to advise them which agent to pick or which training site to go work out. So they're pretty much on their own. We just, pull for them. And, of course, on pro timing day, when everybody comes, they'll be ready to go. It's amazing what better shape these players can get into from December to the end of February here. Two good months of working out. A lot of the big guys lose a bunch of weight, and smaller guys, they get a lot faster somehow. So they really work hard these 2 months.
Coach, you've had an unbelievable career. I came and saw you back in the mid-'90s where you were running Fun and Gun at Florida. You had guys like Raydell Anthony and Ike Hilliard, and Danny Werfel won a Heisman Trophy in that offense. You go off to the Redskins, come back to South Carolina, and you've kind of reinvented yourself. Marcus Lattimore was a running back. Mike Davis at the combine now, terrific back. What, in your mind, was the reason for changing how you went about moving the ball offensively? And are you kind of where you want to be, or are you looking to trend back towards that fun and gun stuff?
Well, Ricky, as we all know, you got to reinvent yourself, or else you're going to get left behind. We hired a coach out of Appalachian State, offensive line coach Sean Elliott, about 5 years ago. So we got into the zone read, the shotgun, about like everybody else. I think Georgia's about the last team that gets in the I formation and has two backs, and of course they do it as well or better than anybody. We like to do that some, but we're pretty much a one-back team now. We probably use a few more tight ends than a lot of teams do. But I would say that's the biggest thing I do differently as an offensive coach is shotgun, zone read, a little play action here and there. But we have run the ball pretty well the last several years, starting with Marcus Lattimore and Mike Davis now. And so you can still win a whole bunch of games running and playing good defense. So that's sort of what we don't try to outscore them 58-55, but we try to control some clock, run the ball, things of that nature to try to win the game.
What kind of coach is Marcus Lattimore going to be?
Oh, he'll be successful whatever he does. I've got the privilege of introducing at a prayer breakfast next month. So Marcus does a lot of speaking and very involved in youth activities around our state. So, yeah, he's a wonderful young man, and he'll be involved with hopefully our team a little bit as he's here in school now finishing up for his degree.
Were you to have the #1 pick, who would you take, Mariota or Winston?
That's a good one. I had a chance to meet Marcus Mariota up at the Heisman this year. I haven't really – well, I did meet Jameis Winston the year before. But they're a little bit different in personalities. But you got to give Jameis credit. Every time they're behind, he pulls them out. We played Miami in the bowl game this year, and I was sort of bragging on Miami. I said they were a team that almost beat FSU, and somebody said, "Coach, there was about 6 teams that almost beat FSU." But Jameis would pull them out in the fourth quarter and win the game for FSU. So, yeah, you got to give him credit. And they're both very, very talented.
Talented and so very different. So that's what's so crazy.
Right.
So very different. Coach,
One's
thank you so much.
a little louder than the other, but that's, we're all different. And both of them, I think, are going to be very successful.
Coach, how's that golf game? Let's talk about something important here.
Ricky, I shot about 93 the other day, first time out this year. We had actually a 70-degree day in South Carolina. That cold weather's seeped down here also. And I'm actually going down to play in the Honda Classic Pro-Am down in West Palm Beach.
I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to break 93. If you're going in front of folks, you'll be in that 80. You'll be in 78.
This will be the second time I played all year down there. My golf game not near as good as it was in the early 90s when I actually could beat Ricky.
See, I knew that was going to come up. I knew he was going to get to the point taking me down.
Well, all I'm saying is that I think that Coach Neuheisel would like to take you back out in the links. Why don't you make your way out here? You guys can head to Bel Air and
You're looking
and
for
tee it up a
weather.
little bit.
I got it for you out here, Coach.
Okay,
And
Ricky.
please do it in a visor for me. That's all I'm asking, Coach.
Always in the visor, Susie.
Thank
All
you.
right, hey,
Enjoy your
thanks
day.
for calling. All right, thanks for calling. See you, Rick. See you,
See
Susie.
you, Coacher. See you now.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.